There is an old Japanese art form, it called kintsugi. In this art form, what happens is when a pottery is broken, the Japanese mend it using gold. So they are not trying to hide the cracks, they're actually mending it. And once it is mended, the pottery becomes even better what it was before. So why I'm telling this story is that I find a relevance in Gurkamal's story. Gurkamal last year got 115 in the interview, but this year he scored 175 in the interview. So from 115, which was a score which would have kept him out from the merit list. But by improving his marks by 60 marks, he has made sure that he gets a better rank in the UPSC Civil Services Examination 2024. So we will discuss this transformation with Gurkanwal. But before Gurkanwal, we move to that interview stage. Welcome and congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir, for the kind introduction. And I'm very much grateful that I am sitting here in front of you to give this interview, sir.
Okay, so before we move to the interview, just tell me about the story, the background of you, Miss, how we started preparing, where are you from, everything.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm basically from Jalandhar, and I did my schooling from Jalandhar itself till 12th. And after my 12th, I did graduation in civil engineering from Thapar University, Patiala. And in my final year of my graduation, I made up my mind to go for civil services. And without wasting any time or sitting in the placements, I went for the preparation for the civil services, totally and fully dedicated to this. And since then I have been preparing this civil services examination. And for the entire journey after my graduation, the first attempt I gave in 2020, in which I failed in prelims. In the second attempt in 2022, I again failed in prelims, because in the GS I scored well, above 100, but in CSAT I scored poor. And in my third attempt, 2023, I fairly scored well in prelims, and I qualified for the mains. And in the for the further, I also qualified in the mains for the interview, and I appeared in the interview in 2020 for the 2023 civil services examination, in which I scored fairly poor in 115, which was a shocking moment for me, because I scored decent in mains, as my score in GS, optional or essay were very much decent, and it was a good score to get into a list. And but it was a heartbreaking moment for me. And in addition to this, I also appeared for the CAPF examination 2022, which I cleared simultaneously giving mains for the civil service examination in 2023. And I was selected as an assistant commandant in border security force, which was my first choice. And during my interview preparation last year, I had to take a tough decision, either to continue with the CAPF or to continue with the civil services examination. So I made a tough call after discussing with my parents and my senior mentors. So I resigned from that job, and with full devotion, I motivated myself for the preparation of civil services examination with the uh, blindfolded path, because for the interview giving resignation is not a easy job, because we don't know about the results in the future. So, and unfortunately that happened with me. I did not scored well in the interview, as I told earlier, and I failed in that attempt. And but with full motivation given by my parents support, and I again appeared for the prelims in 2024, and in which I cleared the prelims with fairly good marks. And after that, I applied for the mains, in which I improved my main score since last year with certain value additions. And again, I qualified for the interview. And for the interview stage, I was stressed. I was very much in tension that what would happen in this interview if the same panel chairperson arrives on that day. And luckily or unluckily, the same chairperson came in front of me, and it was only one time thought that it is not a good day for me, because again the same chairperson arrived. And but I know I have believed in myself at that time also, and the God with the God grace, I fully with the full confidence I appeared in that interview, and yes sir, I decently scored well in that interview, for which I am on the list, sir, in this final list.
And the reason I was trying to stress on the interview is because what happens, when you came to meet me after your mains results were out, the only thing which was weighing on your mind was that is it possible to improve your score? Because once the personality has been judged with such a low score, that is what plays in every candidate's mind. So you were being so humble that you asked me that could you please get me a score of 150? That is what you were looking for. You were not looking for a score of 200. You just wanted a score of 150. And also what happens, this year also, I saw a lot of candidates. For example, there is a candidate who got 116 in the interview. There is a candidate which I met him yesterday who got 136 or 38 in the interview. There is a candidate who got selected, okay, but her interview score was 140. So interview does play a very big role. And sometimes what happens, people think that is it possible to change the personality? Okay, and I tell them yes. Okay, to quote again philosophy, what happens, I must have told you about this. Aristotle says that it is your personality is not something which is being, something which is fixed. It is becoming. Okay, so that is what when he says that we are not what we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but an habit. Okay, so what you can constantly hone your skills, constantly shape your personality, and it becomes part of your habit, and then eventually the character comes out.
Yes.
Okay, and that is what Jean Paul Sartre also says, that existence is fixed, but essence is not fixed. We create our essence. We are condemned to be free, so we will choose how our personality is being shaped. Yes. Okay, and that is how I tell them that yes, from a low score of 115 or 100, you can go up to 200 also.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Okay, so tell me how you prepared for the interview once you came to Vajiram for the IGP.
Yes, sir. Because having that low score on your mind, that is 115, it's very heartbreaking to tell anyone that sir, my score was this, because it is very difficult for the mentor or teacher also that how they can improve our personality. At the end, I arrived in Vajiram for the IGP program. I met some mentors like Ajay sir, and the kind of main main point that sir guided me was it was only me that who can improve my own personality, not any other person. And the kind of suggestions that I got, firstly, to practice more using different um, different areas for the answers, and like political, social, or economical, to make up points on your mind for a particular question. And secondly, you can record or you can mirror practice, which can help in making your vocabulary or your conversation easy during that time of the interview. And thirdly, that I practiced was to judge myself, my own performance, by watching my mock videos and discussing with the mentors that where I was lacking or where I was good, so that for the weak points that I was lacking in, I could improve more, and by giving my more push to that area, sir.
So I told you that you have a very infectious smile, like the candidate who has scored 116. Okay, the smile is so genuine. Okay, in your case also, I said that okay, the smile is very genuine. Okay, keep that up.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so what happens is the personality can be changed. Okay, you can improve your personality,
Yes.
and that is what you did. Okay, and just to remind the viewers that when Gurkanwal was appearing for the interview last year, although he had resigned from CAPF, but it was not known to the board. The board didn't know this. Okay, so this was not an overbearing effect on the board.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and in this year's interview,
Yes.
the board did ask you about why did you resign from CAPF, because this will also help the candidates who are appearing for CAPF.
Yes.
You have qualified both CAPF and UPSC Civil Services examination.
Yes.
To tell us something about your CAPF journey also, and also how this question that why did you resign from CAPF? Okay, tell us about both.
Yes, sir. During my preparation for civil services, I got the opportunity to know about the CAPF examination from my friends, from my seniors. So I thought that I should also give a try to attempt this examination, and I also cleared this examination with fairly good rank, and I was allotted the service that I will have given it a first preference, that is border security force.
Generally, they choose CISF.
Generally, the candidates, they put CSF on the first, but after discussing with my parents or my mentors or my seniors, I put border security force on the first choice, and luckily I got that service in the CAPF examination. And after for the after that, the main area that I was preparing for, that was civil services examination. That was always in the back of my mind, that no, I have to give only civil service examination. But fortunately, God helped me to give me opportunity to serve in the assistant commandant job also. But it was also a uh, subconscious thinking that my mind was not settling in that position, that I have to go for the civil services, that I had started during my initial days for my journey. And in my the dilemma that happened was during my interview last year, that I was under training as assistant commandant, and my interview came in between my training. So the leaves for from that job is difficult to get for the interview. Maybe 1 or 2 days they were offering me, but uh, that the getting in interview call for a civil services was the rarest opportunity that I was admiring, or I was aspiring for since many years. So I took a tough call that I should resign from that service and go and fully prepare for the
This was a
civil.
difficult choice.
Sir, it was a very difficult choice. I think I would remember till my last stage of life, because I know that what I was handling in my mind, that what would people say, what would my future would be if I won't clear this civil services. I would be left with no job and no employment. Leaving a group A job is a very tough decision that I took, and I think I thought at that point of time that this decision of mine would affect my interview. But fortunately or luckily, the panel members did not discussed about this, as
In the first interview.
in the first interviews, as I had not mentioned in the DAF that I mentioned the DAF that I have cleared the examination, but I have joined on Norgen. I have not mentioned in my DAF, so it was not a point of discussion for the panel members. But I don't know what happened at that day. Maybe not a day for me. I was scored less. I always think about like this, that I was not my 100% at that time. So I made a vow that time that I will again appear for the interview next year. And I still remember the day the result came, 2023, that let the same panel come again, and I'll appear again for in front of the same panel. I would score well at that time. And I think I manifested, and again in the next interview the same panel chairperson came, and luckily, uh, I don't know, I improved. It was always in my mind that I should improve. I should not just sit on that uh, past that I have failed in that last attempt, or my personality is not up to that par that requiring for the civil services. So I improved. I talked to with a lot of mentors, ex bureaucrats, gave a lot of mocks, and I discussed with the parents. I gave mock interviews to my sisters and my brother-in-law. He's also an IRS, and he also helped me in my interview, and my mentors. So a lot of discussions happened, and I focused mainly upon my negative opinions, that what should I improve in my interview. And so in 2024 interview, I went again and I scored decently well in this time, sir.
So the attitude that you were just playing, that the same, I get the same board.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that attitude actually helped. But tell me, how did your parents receive when you means declared that you are going to resign from CAPF?
So parents are parents were supportive since my starting of this journey, civil services or CAPF. When I took that decision that I would resign from CAPF, a group A job, a very well very big responsibility on my shoulders. My parents were a little bit hesitant to support that decision, but in the end they made a call that it's your life, that whatever decision I would take, they are standing by at my back, and they would support me in any future my attempts in any examination beside this CAPF, sir.
That paid off well.
Yes.
Okay. You are also part of this IGP where you interacted with Ravindran sir, one-to-one interaction.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And he is considered to be one of the greatest, one of the finest for the interviews.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me that experience.
Yes, sir. For this year civil services IGP, I met Ravindran sir for 1-to-1, and it was very gentle experience for me. After that 1-to-1 mock session, I was feeling satisfied, that because I gave mock to sir with the sir. I had mock with the sir at at the last stage, or just before 2 days before my actual interview, and I was completely satisfied that the kind of questions that sir had asked me, or the review that sir have given me about my answers, or the areas that sir discussed with me by observing my DAV that I should prepare, uh, was very good, sir. And he personally told me the range of marks that I would get in the actual interview, and I scored at that level only, sir. And I think it was a kind of a blessing by the sir, that he told me to forget about the past, that I scored less 115, and focus on the future this interview, and I am definitely of level that more than 170 I can score. And it was kind of a positive impact on my mind, on my subconscious mind, that yes, I will certainly score well in this interview, sir.
Gurukulam has a long association with Vajiram. Gurukulam was the part of GS foundation course of Vajiram. He did his options from Vajiram. He did CO short program from Vajiram. He joined the essay module of Vajiram, rankers program of Vajiram, and finally he was part of IGP program of Vajiram. Okay, so we'll discuss it one by one. Tell me about the essay module program, which is run by Brijender Singh sir at Vajiram. You were part of that program.
Yes, sir.
Tell me something about that experience.
Sir, the essay program, I joined Vajiram this year, 2024, and the last mains I have not joined any program for the essay, and I scored less marks in the last attempt. So I was guided by my seniors that Brijendra sir teaches well in the essay. So I joined the program, and it was very much helpful for me, because it was a very new area of writing an essay. Everyone was using certain common approach to go with the essay, but Brijender sir's area of discussing essay and opening up various dimensions on that too for the philosophical essays, it was hard to memorize or to get into our mind in the initial stages, but if we get to apply apply that method in the essay part in the examination, it was very much helpful for me. And at the end stage of my preparation, I was totally aware about the method that sir was teaching, and I applied. It was very much fortunate moment for me that the essays that I prepared during my preparation was of the same theme that that other examination was having. And I think the material that sir gave us in the essay or the ethics material, it was very much helpful for me to apply that in the actual examinations.
And essay, this module course means its handouts actually help in other paper also,
Yeah,
because the handouts are so extensive.
certainly, sir. The material in the essays, the examples or the anecdotes that sir gave us, it not only helped me in the essay, in the GS4 ethics paper, it helped. I used a lot of examples from the essay material. In the GS3, in some parts of the questions, we can add on some examples, or in the GS1 social issues or society questions, we can add on from such examples. I use these examples, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Generally, we say that essay paper is a personality test on paper.
Yes, sir.
So you qualified both the personality test on paper and in person. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You were also part of the Vajiram's GS Foundation course. And to tell the viewers, Gurukamal has scored 442 in this year's GS. Okay. So tell us about your GS experience. Tell us also the scores of paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, and paper 4. And then we will discuss the strategies for all the papers.
Yes, sir. In this mains 2024, I scored 442, which is a very good score.
What was your score last year?
424, sir.
So even last year you scored very well.
Yes, sir. It is a decent score. So in this year, I scored in GS 199 and GS 2 120 and GS 399 and GS 4 124.
Okay.
And for the strategy for the GS paper,
Tell me about this paper 4, the
paper
ethics
4.
paper. What you did something different?
The firstly that I told before, the kind of examples I used from the essay material of Brijendra sir, it was very much linked with the questions that were asked in our actual ethics exams. So I added those examples in my answers. And secondly, it was to satisfy the demand of the question. If we don't satisfy the demand, if we don't know the demand of the question and we just write anything or everything, beat around the bushes, I think that would not satisfy the examiner about the answer that we are giving. And I used to read question twice or mark the keywords of the question that were asked to stay focused on the demand of the question. And for thirdly that I used was to use multiple points, multiple dimensions of a particular question. If there is a question about women empowerment, then we can open it upon various dimensions, political, economic, not just writing that political, economic, but being organic and substantiating that every point with the examples or facts or data, or with the schemes that government is running. And I used to add up and link with that, link those examples data with the answer, with the question. And for the introduction or conclusion part, introduction I used to write facts most of the time, or maybe defining the term, or maybe any scheme that government has been running about that question. And in the conclusion part, for the ethics, I would say I try to add on quotes this time in every answer, including the case studies, and try to bring a holistic perspective from different areas into the conclusion or future perspective, I would say, that would give a better dimension to our answer in the conclusion. So I tried search these points in my answers.
Okay. And in GS2 also, your score is very good. So tell us something about that.
So GS2, as I told in my earlier answer, that the firstly is to stick on the keywords, that the questions that the examiner has asked us, to stay focused on those keywords and don't
How to read the question.
And what was the extra point that I was adding in the GS2 this time was I used certain case studies in the and before conclusion, or sometimes writing way forward case studies, that not this does not mean that I would fill up half of the page with the case study. It is kind of example to give a examiner a point up that yes, that I know to link the case study or know the example of current scenario that has been happening. So I used to add on case studies. And secondly, I used to add on flow charts to make multiple dimensions of an answer, to make it in a small area. And thirdly, the diagrams and maps is also GS2. In GS2 I did not use maps, I don't remember, but in GS1 I used maps. And another was, that is, the past and future elements. If the question is regarding any past, I would connect it with the present and show a future perspective. And if it is of future perspective, I would connect it with the past. So I was trying to make a different answers as compared to the other. I don't. I was not watching the answers of other, but I was thinking that I should add something different, so that the examiner would say, think it is a different dimension, sir.
If possible, we will share some of your scripts. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I have written. Okay. Means that will give them a very clear picture how to write an answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your option was anthropology.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you were part of Vajiram's anthropology course. Okay, so tell us about that journey.
Yes, sir. Since the starting of my journey of this preparation, I joined the GS Foundation, as I told earlier, in Vajiram, and side by side, I joined anthropology a foundation program in the Vajiram. And before selecting the subject, I was very much in a dicey situation that which subject I would choose. Uh, but it was only anthropology that I was pointing to that I should go for, and I studied here at Vajiram. It was around 3 months course, and I completed my paper 1 and paper 2 from the Vajiram itself, sir. And later on, I added or created certain short notes of those notes so that it could help me in the mains, sir.
How did anthropologists change you? Means how the perspective which was there earlier, how did that perspective change? The way you see the society, your worldview, how did it change?
Sir, it has changed because I was not aware about any subject known as anthropology earlier. Only when I started the preparation, I got to know, and it is basically the totality of study of man since past and in the future also. Since so different dimensions, the language, the society, the culture, the marriage, the family, and different dimensions. I am seeing the society today. We can connect it with the theoretical concepts that we are studying in this anthropology. So it is kind of a new experience for me since last, I think, 1.5 years that I'm observing this. And yes, sir, it is a good experience.
It has given you a lens to see the society.
Yes, sir, from a different way. I would say not a simple way that we were looking in towards the world in a simple way.
Tell us something about Jalandhar, your city. I want to see that smile.
Yes, sir. Jalandhar is a very fine city. It is very much peaceful as compared to the other cities, and I find peace at home at Jalandhar only. Whether I was living in Delhi or Chandigarh or any other city, I was very much eager to go back to Jalandhar as my family resides there, and it is a home which I find first and the last place to live in. So Jalandhar as a city has changed a lot. In either we can say that from the commercial part or from the development part, the constructions, the roads, but the connect or the societal part, that is only that I look for in a city. And Jalandhar is, I think, one of the good cities in India to live in, sir.
And your first preference for the service is Punjab only.
Yes, sir, Punjab, sir. My first preference.
You love the state.
Yes, sir. Although I'm not in a worry that if uh, any other cadre or any other place I would be assigned duties, as I would be very much happy to complete or to obey the responsibility that any service is offered to me in the future in any place, sir.
Sure, you chose BSF and CAPF.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, so just tell something to the aspirants who think that if they have scored low in the personality test, how should they handle the score? Means how should they approach the next attempt?
Yes.
Especially for the personality test, because that I know that it was weighing heavily on your mind.
Yes, sir. Uh, I think the main first point that we should look upon if we have scored low in our interview is to forget about that part. We have to forget about the past. It will not matter in the future. Everything will be happening from the new beginning. The panel member won't remember your marks. The chairperson won't remember your personality of the last year. So, first point is this. Second point is stay confident and motivated and devoted to join the civil services. If you feel little bit of stressed or less motivated or not interested in giving the interview, the panel chairperson would straight away give you less marks again. And thirdly would be to improve your weak points wherever you were lacking, to analyze the entire interview that you appeared for the in which you scored less, so that and discuss it with the good mentors and ex bureaucrats or any other senior teacher that you are talking with, and they would give you a better unbiased and neutral opinion about what are the positives and negatives that you were showing in that interview, and focus on the negative parts and improve on that part. And lastly would be to practice more and more. To one point that I used in this preparation, in this year interview preparation, was to video record myself saying and preparing questions and answering those questions, and video recording myself and observing the answers on my own judgment, that where I am standing currently. And lastly would be to leave it to the God, and I know that in the future everything will be good, and you will score definitely good in the future if you improve more, sir.
There is a Greek word called metanoia, metanoia, which means the profound transformation of the heart. Okay, so what Guru Kanwal did is profoundly transformed himself. Okay, so that is why we say that personality is not a monument, it's a movement. And every day he made sure that he changes his personality. And in one part of the interview, he's saying that I was wishing that I get the same board. Now you can understand how profoundly he was transforming himself. He was just trying to show the same personality or the changed personality to the same board. And that is how I see the personalities change.
Yes.
Okay, Gurpranwal. So all the very best. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I'm very happy that you came.
Thank you
Okay.
so much, sir.
And all the best.
Thank you again, sir. Thank you so much.
Any last message?
Sir, I'm very much grateful that I'm sitting here doing podcast with you, and I think I was waiting for this moment since many years. So I'm very much happy and satisfied with my result, and thankful to the God that has brought such time for me. Yes, sir.
All the best, Gurpranwal.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you.